So now let us understand the graphical understanding of the concept of limits. To understand this, we are going to first know the general statement which we know, and then we are going to try to define that how do we know that. Our case over here is the case of a graph, okay? And which type of graph are we going to use? We are going to use the type of a graph that is known as hyperbola. So we are going to run this side, but for now, hyperbola. Now, as we know what the equation of hyperbola is, the equation of hyperbola is xy is equals to constant. Then y is equals to a constant by x. If you try to derive the proportionality, y is inversely proportional to x. This is the case, okay? And for some context, let us suppose the value of constant is 1, for example. Then the value of y comes out to be 1 by x. So this will be our equation with which we'll be dealing over here. So let me write that down over here. Y is equals to 1 by x. Now, since the value of y is equals to 1 by x, can we apply some limit over here? Yes, we can apply limit, but we'll be looking at it in just a moment. Since the graph is hyperbola and this is the equation, we know how the graph looks like. The graph, since it is positive, the graph looks something like this. Now we are going to try to define why does the graph look like this. Okay? Using the concept of limits, we'll be understanding why just this shape. So we will be getting to know the concept right now. And also, while we are trying to prove the hyperbola graph, we can also prove why 1 by 0 is not defined. Why 1 by 0 is not defined? This can also be proved by the concept of limits. Okay? So let us start. We have the equation y is equals to 1 by x. Let us apply a limit over here. There are two cases of limits. First case, let us limit x to 0 over here in the equation of y is equals to 1 by x. If we limit the value of x is equals to 0, it means we are trying to achieve the denominator value as 0. That will almost give us y is equals to 1 by 0. And then we will understand that what the value of 1 by 0 is. If we limit x to 0, let us draw the number line again. Now this time, we can achieve 0 by two different methods. One from the positive side, which goes from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.1, 0.001. That is from the positive side. And we can also achieve 0 from the negative side. Minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, minus 0.1, minus 0.001. So there are two ways to achieve the value of x is equals to 0. Let us achieve it. To understand that, let the value of x be 0.1, and we are taking the case of positive, that is from positive side. Let x be 0.1. Then the value of y will be 1 by 0.1, that is equals to 10. When the value of x is 0.1, the value of y is 10. Let us suppose the value of x is 10 to the power minus, that is 0.001. Then the value of y is 1 by 10 to the power minus 3, that is 10 cube, which is 1000. So when the value of x is 0.001, the value of y is 10 power 3, that is 1000. Let us take another case where x is 10 to the power minus 50. From the trend, we can understand that the value of y will be 10 to the power 50. Now a closer observation can say that as we are achieving the value of 0. Now what is the meaning of 10 power minus 3? It means 0.003. Sorry, 0.001. This value is almost equal to 0. What is the value of 10 to the power minus 50? It means 0.0000050 times. And then a 1, 49 times and then a 1. So this value is also almost equal to 0. What we understand is, as the value of x approaches 0, the value of y approaches infinity. This is one very good observation from here. As the value of x approaches 0, as we are trying to approach the value of 0, the value of y keeps on increasing up to infinity. Let us note this statement over here. As the value of x approaches 0, the value of y approaches infinity. Then 1 by 0 should be infinity. But we do not define it as infinity. We actually say it as not defined. What is the reason for saying it not defined? For that explanation, we have to take the second case as well. And the second case is approaching 0 from the negative side. Now we are going to approach 0 from the negative side. So when x approaches 0, y approaches infinity. From the negative side, this is the equation over here. If the value of x is minus 0.1, now this value is closer to 0, then the value of y is minus 1 by 0.1, that is equals to minus 10. So value of x is minus 0.1, the value of y is minus 10. If the value of x is minus 10 to the power minus 3, it is 0.001 in the minus. This value is also closer to 0. Then the value of y comes out to be minus 10 to the power 3. Now we are able to understand the trend again. As we are increasing the value of 0 over here, the value of y is tending to positive infinity. As we are reaching the value of 0 over here, x is equals to minus 10 to the power minus 50, then the value of y reaches minus 10 to the power 50. Hence, another conclusion is as the value of x tends to infinity, as the value of x tends to 0, the value of y tends to negative infinity. This is another interesting outcome. As the value of x tends to 0, the value of y tends to minus infinity. Now, how can we understand this concept over here? First case says that anything divided by 0 gives us a positive infinity answer. Second case says that anything divided by 0 gives us a negative infinity option. How to actually understand this? To understand this, we thought, why not draw a graph about it? So, this is our understanding, and we are going to run this point over here. We are going to come to the conclusion now, y is 1 by 0 not defined. Mathematician thought, why not we graph a plot over here? So, we draw the axis over here. This is the positive y, positive x, negative y. The first case was as x approaches 0. Now we are confused over here, right? X approaches 0, then y is infinity, x approaches 0, y is negative infinity. We don't know which x is approaching from which direction. X is approaching 0 from where? From the positive side or the negative side. Now, over here the case is we are achieving x is equal to 0 from the positive side. So, we call this as x plus. And here we are achieving from the negative side, we call this as x minus. So, as x plus is achieving 0, it means from the positive side, as we try to come to the value of 0 over here, this is 0, 0, as we try to achieve the value of 0, the y value tends to infinity. This is the graph. And to draw it more clearly, this is the graph. As the value of x is trying to reach the value of 0, the value of y reaches infinity. Similarly, taking from the negative side, as the value of x reaches 0, the value of y tends to minus infinity. This is the graph of the hyperbola which we drew at the starting when we were understanding the concept of limits. So now, our actual question is, why is 1 by 0 not defined? Because, where is the point where x is meeting 0? At the point which x is meeting 0 is the point which lies at positive infinity as well as negative infinity. See, at the value of 0 there is no value of y. Since this is the point of 0, at the point of suppose here 5, the value of y is suppose 2. But at the point of 0, there is no value of y. Hence, we are saying that 1 by 0 is not defined because there is no such answer. There is nothing that is both infinity and minus infinity. So this was why 1 by 0 is not defined, and this was also how we can understand the concept of limits in terms of graphical understanding. There is another way of understanding this. If we tend x to infinity. That is another case. If you want, we can sum. And now we are going to go up to the solution of the question which we have taken. In the starting, we took an equation that was x square minus 4 by x minus 2. Now we are going to understand what the solution of that question is. Let us see.